Hello, I'm Laura Lonsdale and I'm the Spanish tutor at Queen's. And I've been asked to answer a few questions for this virtual open day about my course, my subject, myself, and about the college as well. So the first question I've been asked to answer is, how is the course I teach structured at Queen's? Well, it's a 4-year course, like all the model languages courses at Oxford, and that includes a compulsory year abroad, which is normally in your third year. There are a couple of exceptions to that, but nearly always in your third year. And the first year sort of lays the foundations so that you can start to make some informed choices in your second year. And then the course sort of becomes increasingly specialised. So I probably won't say much more than that because I guess I wanted to focus a little bit more on what's particular about model languages at Queen's. And I guess there are two sort of USPs, if you like. The first is that we take quite a large cohort of model linguists each year, so we normally take about 13 students in each year group. And we're also unusual in the sense that we take for every possible degree combination where model languages are concerned. So we have lots of students doing lots of different languages and combinations of languages with other subjects. And it means that we have people going off all over the world during their year abroad. So it's a good sense of community. There's a real sense of vibrancy around the subject. And the other thing that we have at Queen's is the Translation Exchange, which is an organisation that does a lot of work with schools and that generally kind of works hard to promote reading and writing in translation. There's a lot going on in model languages at Queen's, and that's an exciting thing to be a part of. We're very lucky that we are able to get to know our students very well because we teach in small groups. You know, we have a good amount of contact time, and it's a real pleasure and a privilege to guide and nurture a student all the way through their degree. What's my favourite bit of the college? I am currently working from home, as everybody has been for a long time. So I guess, I'm feeling particularly fond of my college room at the moment because I haven't been seeing it quite as much as usual. But apart from that, I really love the garden. There's a magnolia tree that comes into flower every spring and I like to sit and watch it with a cup of coffee. So that would be my favourite bit of the college. What sort of activities am I involved in outside of teaching and research? I have a busy home life. I've got 2 children. I like to play music. I like to be involved in theatre, and I generally try and keep myself out of mischief. What do I look for in prospective students for my subject? Well, I'm looking for evidence of real interest in what you're planning to spend 4 years of your life studying and committing to. So I'm not really expecting you to know very much. I'm not expecting you to have studied a lot of literature before. I'm not expecting you to have very profound knowledge of the history or the politics of any part of the Spanish-speaking world. But I do really want to see that you've taken an interest in those things and that you've done a bit of reading, that you've made an effort to find out a bit about the course and about some of the literature that you might be studying on that course. So do a bit of reading in Spanish, but also do a bit of reading in translation and think about what that involves, what it means that something has been translated as opposed to reading it in the original. All of these questions are worthwhile and interesting and will be relevant to the course that you want to embark on. Well, I guess it's important to know that we're likely to give you a text to read, either before or maybe even during the interview. And that would normally be a poem or a very short piece of prose. And then we would spend probably about 15 minutes just focusing on that text. We wouldn't expect you to know anything about it, and we wouldn't expect you to have any technical vocabulary for talking about it. But what we would want is to be able to have a really good chat about it. So to really explore it, think about it, consider questions like, why this word and not that word? Why is it organised this way on the page? What might the implications of this statement be? What do you think the tone of that is? You don't have to come in with a pre-prepared answer. You don't have to come in with a sort of brilliant interpretation based on kind of some sort of historical or political reading of the text. In fact, it's much better if you don't do that. What you do need to be prepared to do is to venture some ideas, and then to listen to what your interviewer says in response, to answer their questions really carefully and reflectively, to be willing to listen to their suggestions. I think some people think that the best they can do is sort of dig their heels in and show that they're sticking by their idea. But generally, as in life, it's kind of better to be willing to listen and respond and think, and by all means, defend your views and your ideas, but do that sort of in conversation and in collaboration and so on. And then, the rest of the interview we would devote to talking about other things that you had read. So going back to what I was saying before, if you've managed to get a couple of novels under your belt, or, some poetry and a play, let's say, then we would want to be able to talk about that in the interview. So make sure that you tell us in your personal statement what you've been reading, and then come prepared to talk about it. And again, it doesn't matter if you haven't worked out exactly what you think something means, or you haven't looked into every detail of it. We wouldn't expect you to have done that, but we would want to be able to explore it with you, and to see that you had read it carefully, and thought about it, and sort of come to some sort of understanding of it. So finally, what would I say to somebody considering applying to Queen's? I guess I would say go for it. We're a good sort of community of linguists. We've got a long history in the subject, and hopefully a long future. So come along. It'd be great to see you.